Hey guys, this is the sewing tutorial of the cup corset with asymmetry hem. So I went ahead to cut the patterns I have on the fabric. So for the yoke, I'm using a chantilly lace, and the cup will be some crepe fabric, black crepe fabric, and I'm notching the midpoint so it will be easy for me to sew. And for the main bodies, I used 1 inch for the seam allowance and around the cup region. I used ½ inch for the hem and ½ inch at the top there. So I'll join it to the yoke. So I need to notch the midpoint of the cup just so it will be easy for me to sew. And for the back bodies, I cut the yoke, still using the chantilly lace, and I used a plain black lace just to line it so it won't be too transparent. I still have the zipper allowance there, and I added ½ inch all the way around. For the down part of the back bodies, I used 1 inch for the seam allowance, ½ inch at the top and at the hem. I will have to sew out the zipper allowance. And for the front, I am simply going to replicate the style lines I have on the pattern. So at the corner there, I am going inwards with 1 inch. I'll be connecting that to meet the midpoint of the cup and draw the line slightly like so. I'm repeating the same thing for the other side. And then at the other corner, I'm going downwards with 1 inch. And I'll draw a straight line to meet the yoke part like so. And at the edge there, I'll go inwards with about 4 inches, and I'm connecting it to meet that slant line that I drew. On this other side, I am simply replicating what I already have. And so it will be the same thing. I'll need to measure the distances on the other one. Around the cup there, I made sure that it doesn't go into the 1 inch seam allowance we added for the cup attachment. For my style lines, you can use beads and you can use trimmings, depends on what you want. For the bone channels, I drew on the back, and this is the front. I'll be using the Neckline boning, and they will serve as my casing for the plastic boning. I attached it to the lining, the front and the back panel. So we will attach our cup. I'll need to take out ½ inch. Remember we added 1 inch, but I'll be cutting ½ inch out. Now we added this 1 inch, so when I'm sewing the Neckline boning, it will go into this. So then cutting it out and attaching the cup, it gives it more stability and firmness, other than just leaving ½ inch around there. So this is the main fabric, and I'll need to attach the cup. But before I do so, I'll need to bring in the cup, and this is a push-up bra cup. Alright. So then to cover it with the fabric, to cover the bra cup, I'll be using hemming gum for this. So you simply cut the hemming gum into pieces. Cutting the hemming gum into pieces, you place it on the bra cup, and then you cover it with the fabric. You will need to take it to the ironing board and iron it firm like so, and leaving ½ inch all the way around, so you will use it to attach it to the main fabric. Bringing in the main fabric, I will need to attach the bra cups now. Attaching the bra cups, at this point I'll need to bring in the back panel and take out the seam allowance. Taking out the seam allowance for both the lining and the fabric. If you want to make the neckline more plunged than this, you can as well go down, but my clients want it this way. All right, wants it a bit covered. So at this point, I'm bringing in the yoke. I have a separate tutorial for this yoke, how I made the loops and how I done it. Attaching it to the main blouse, I'll be working with the dot line. Okay, for the back panel, taking out the excess of the zipper, I'll measure 4 inches from that zipper inwards. I'm measuring 4 inches, marking that on both sides. I'll bring in the yoke, making the right side of the yoke to face the right side of the fabric. I'll place it where I have marked, bring the back yoke to that point. I'll then pin it down all the way to the side seam. This I will do to the other side as well. And when we are done with that, we'll move to the front panel. On the front panel, I will take the yoke, alright, take it to the front panel. That's the front yoke, and I'll be working with the dart leg as well. So now I took it to the midpoint of this bra cup and I'll pin it to the side seam. And I'm doing the same thing to the other side. When I'm done with that, I'll take it to the machine and sew it. And then we'll have to turn it with lining. After sewing it, alright, I use 1/2 inch to sew it. I'll need to remove the pins, and at the side seam there, I'll be taking out the seam allowance for the yoke. At this point, I was tempted to just cut out the excess, but of course, if there will be some adjustment, you know you will need the seam allowance. Okay, so because we have the seam allowance on the blouse, I decided to leave it on the yoke as well. So all I will need to do is just take out the excess and then I'll close up the hole, the hole like so. So just to show you what I did, I had to fold it because it's more than 1/2 inch, folding the excess of the allowance on both the fabric and the yoke. Alright, and then I'll take it to the machine and just seal up that place that we still have open. And this is what it looks like. So now, before I turn it with the lining, I'll need to, to double this. I have a whole tutorial on how to make this double boning, okay? So in case you don't have any idea about it, I'll leave the link in the description box. So now I'll need to insert the plastic boning into this regline boning. Remember, I said the regline boning are my case. So after inserting the plastic boning, I'll need to turn the lining with the main fabric. And so from the zipper part, I'll just place the lining on it and sew the zipper, the lining, and the main fabric. And when I'm done with that, I will turn the neckline first before I work on the hem. So on the neckline, remember for the yoke, I used 1/2 inch. So I'll use less than 1/2 inch because I don't want to sew beyond that point or on that point, because most times when I'm doing that, the yoke might squeeze. So I am using about 1/4 inch or 5/8 to sew it, and then to sew the neckline from one zipper to the other. And I'm done with the neckline, and for the hem, I'll just need to clean up the edges. So whatever excess of the fabric of the lining that I have, I'll just trim it out. So now for the corners there, I'll just go in with 1/2 inch, so I'll have a relaxed look after sewing. And then I'll turn it inside out and sew out the hem. So I'll bring it to the right side. After sewing this hem, I had to lose one part of the zipper. I gave it a good brace and then cut the fabric using the Chantilly lace, and I'm working with the stretchy part, folding it into two and folding it into two again because I want to cut the two sleeves at the same time. I'm working with the base of the sleeves, and so at the top edge of this Chantilly lace I draw an horizontal line, and that's the start point. And because it's an elongated pencil sleeves, from that horizontal line I am measuring 3 inches downwards, and at that 3 inches downwards, that serves as the main, as a start point for the sleeve length. So I'll measure 5 inches downwards for my bicep length, and for the elbow length I'm using 12 inches. For the sleeve length I'm using 24 inches, and I will add my seam allowance of 2 inches. At this point I am drawing horizontal lines, so I can place the horizontal measurements. So there we have the elongated allowance, and on the bicep length I am placing a half of the bicep circumference of 8 inches, adding the seam allowance. And I'll connect the bicep circumference, half of the bicep circumference, to the apex of the sleeves and measure that slant line and divide it into two. At that midpoint, I'll simply bring my cuff like so. Watch me do it, but I have a whole tutorial on how to draft a basic sleeve, so I'll leave it in the description box for those who do not have any idea about this. You can watch that for proper understanding of what I'm doing here. So when I'm done with that part, I'll simply blend the curve that I have there to the allowance for the elongated part. I'll just use it to pleat, okay? It gives a different effect to the sleeves. On the elbow length, I am placing a half of the elbow circumference plus 1 inch as seam allowance. On the wrist there, I am measuring a half of the wrist measurement plus 1 inch. And I'll give it a little slant into the hem allowance and then connect dots. So I'll cut this out and hem the sleeves, take out my seam allowance and attach it to the dress, to the corset. So if any part of this tutorial adds any value to you at all, give me a thumbs up, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.